Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zac the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome to the Pool Nation Live podcast with myself, your host, Edgar De Jesus. And yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John, JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous, I can't speak today, John, Zac, the Pool Boy Nicholas. In today's episode, we celebrate the end of season 1 of the Pool Nation podcast. We'll do a quick year in review. We will talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and where our journey is taking us into season number 2. I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting and splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and trading in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast, Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, and poolinvoice.com. We want to thank them for their continued support. John, good morning.
Good morning, Edgar. Good morning, everybody out there. It's been quite an exciting few days out in Texas for everybody that obviously knows that we went out to Texas and we had a great time. Just a blast. In a few words, it's pretty much been life-changing for us because it's made us think about some things that we might be doing in the future. And Leanne and Edgar were such gracious hosts. It was awesome. And, you know, we haven't had a chance to have like a day off or to go anywhere and to kind of disconnect from work. And we had the opportunity to do so. And it was just beautiful. I know I had a great time. I'm not sure about Zac because I think I scared Zac, and that's why Zac's not on the podcast today. I am exactly how I am on the podcast in real life. Times 10, maybe a little intense. There's not as much of a filter, but hopefully, Zac, I didn't scare you off too much, my friend, but it was a pleasure meeting you too. We hit it off. It's like as if we were friends for 30 years. It was just amazing. I look forward to coming back out in November, maybe even sooner.
That would be awesome. And guys, for everybody listening, Zac was having some major technical difficulties this morning. He was all stressed out. So I know that Zac is watching on the Facebook Live. So Zac, no worries. Don't worry about it. That's the challenge sometimes of the technology. So don't worry about it. We'll kind of do this between me and John, and we'll kind of get you caught up. We will make more fun of you because you're not here. So that just kind of gives us the ammo.
Absolutely.
Guys, for everybody listening, we will do a quick recap, me and John, of us meeting for the first time and what we did out here in Texas. We'll talk a little bit about season 1, kind of the things that we've seen, how we've grown, and what we're looking forward to season number 2. Before we get started today, I want to talk about 2 things, John. One of them is that we are doing another business training class. We didn't do one in August because everybody was just so crazy, and with all the shortages, there just was a big focus on obviously just trying to keep those businesses running. But we are going to do one in September 18th, and that's the one that is the business training, and it covers a lot of things with regards to business, the different business types, things that your system should have, how to set up your invoicing system. It talks about the fundamentals of micro businesses and metrics and profits like we talked on the podcast. And by the time that you're done with this class, you will know the exact cost of service. So there is some homework. You do need to get some of your expenses. But what we do is during the training class, we break it all down. We teach you about micro businesses. We teach you about the importance of metrics. And obviously, we talk about the number one thing, and that is profit. So I do have one thing, John, for those that have signed up to use Pool Invoice. We have a little gift for you, and that is 50% off the training class if you have signed up for Pool Invoice. So what you're going to want to do is if you want to take the class, email me at edgar@poolnationpodcast.com, and I'll give you the code to be able to get 50% off of the class. For those that have not signed up for Pool Invoice, you could go to poolnation.online or the Pool Nation podcast, and you'll find links on the Pool Nation podcast. It's over on the right. You click on it. It'll take you there to be able to register. And John, the second thing that we want to talk about is the Pool Nation Awards.
I can't believe it's coming up so quick. We started thinking about this a few months back, 6 months back, I think. We started talking about it, and I'm thinking, oh my God, we got plenty of time. And wow, I cannot believe we're only weeks away. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
And I feel like obviously they get closer, and I'm like, oh man, we got all these deadlines that we got to meet, and kind of jumping in there and trying to get all those done. So for all of you out there, you can go to poolnationawards.com, and that's the website, and you can nominate people. So what I'm going to recommend is that you guys get out there and you nominate, because our window closes for nominations on August 21st. So don't think there's a lot of time out there. Get out there, nominate. Guys, if you want to nominate somebody and you don't feel like, oh my God, I have the time to write this big, huge paragraph on the person or whatever, go ahead, submit the nomination. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of do a recap. We'll go through them. We'll reach out to those people. We'll get some information and set up those nominations so that we can open up for voting. There are some categories that are open already for voting. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to see the ones that say open for voting. You can register, you could vote for those, but the deadline is August 21st. So you guys want to, jump on there. Have you nominated anybody, John?
Not yet.
Not yet?
But we will.
You going to nominate me for something?
I already know. Yeah, absolutely.
Clown of the year or something like that?
Well, that's a more PC way of saying it.
Thanks, John. I appreciate that. So we did get a message from Robert, and he is a follower of ours, John, that said that we needed to make sure that for the next couple podcasts, we talk about the fact that we moved from Podbean Live to Facebook Live, because he had gone to the Podbean Live kind of looking for us. So everybody out there, we have moved to the Facebook Live. So at 11 o'clock Central Time, if you click on there, you can find us there. I also have an email list, and what I do is I send out a link right as the podcast starts to everybody. So if you want to be on that list, shoot me an email at edgar@poolnationpodcast.com. I'll add you to that list, and then when the podcast starts, I'll shoot a quick email out. You click on that link, it'll open that up for you. John, every Friday we do shout outs for everybody, and I think I have a very special shout out today. The shout out for today is going to go to Miss Janie.
Oh, my Janie?
Yes, your Janie. So everybody that's listening, John's wife, we call her Mama Janie, and we got to meet her when she came out to I almost said California, to Texas with us. And man, John, is she a hoot. And she could do the pool talk. She really can do the pool talk.
Dude, she's a sweetheart, man. She is just like the whole package. I'm blessed to have her in my life. Believe it or not, us as a family, we kind of keep to ourselves. We're not nearly as outgoing as you are. You are everybody's friend and always happy, and the happiest person probably I've ever met in my life, to be honest. But when we do talk to people, or people that we feel that, we want to talk to, we kind of open up and we kind of let loose, and when we feel comfortable with them. And Janie felt that way from the second she met you, and Leanne and Zach, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see her just happy and not have to worry about work, and she's an animal. She really is. You guys were a blast, and we're going to get into that in a second. I don't want to jump ahead of myself here, but we have Joel Thompson over here teasing us, most tears for me. So everybody listening, we have our chat here on the Facebook page, and Joel is making fun of me because obviously I cried so much because of my daughter going to college. I won't talk about it because I'll probably, yes, Joel, I'll take that prize. I'll cry again. But here's what happened, John. Well, not John, but the listeners that are out there, and if Zach was here, he was going to back me up on this, but it was John. So Janie and I and Zach are doing all the pool talk, and John's the one sitting there going, you guys need to stop doing all the pool talk. All you girls do is do
Top pool talk, pool talk, pool talk. You guys just need to stop it. And so you guys need to talk about Texas. And, blah. And so we're having a good time talking pools. And John's over here
not
going,
what I
need to
like,
talk about Texas. And
that
Edgar, I need about this and know about this market. And that's exactly how you sounded, John.
Wow.
You guys need to stop talking about pools. All you guys do is talk pools.
Oh, I did throw in the y'all a couple times. That was a little contagious because everywhere I went was y'all. So I was, and then you can see the cowboy hat there that Mama bought. She threw up.
That's right
on the background there. So if my voice was that high pitched, I apologize. I was just overwhelmed with excitement at the time. So.
See, Zac is saying here on the chat, sounds exactly like John. So see, I knew that was the case there. So anyways, but big shout out to Janie. She's awesome. And we're going to talk about it here in a little bit and kind of get my thoughts on our reunion. So everybody, today we celebrate the finale of season 1. Can you believe that we've been doing a season already, that we've got 52 podcasts under our belt?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it just blows my mind to think. And when you say 52, 52, I mean, really?
52.
Wow. I guess when you're having fun, things tend to, speed right past you and you don't really pay attention. But God, I look at it like it's been we're only a few months away from 2022 also. So this year's just been a whirlwind of everything. And, as far as like the podcast, I think for me, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about it later, but I think it's been a blessing. I do what I do because I enjoy what I do. And I truly have a love for the pool industry. I spend all day, every day talking and speaking with other pool guys across the country on a daily basis, so this isn't anything really new to me. But what I really appreciate here is like the friendships that we've built and getting to just be ourselves. So all the people we've talked to, all the things we've done, and what we talk about on these podcasts is really what we want to talk about. And there is no filter. There is no BS. There's none of that. We try to keep it as PC as possible, obviously, because we know there's a bunch of different people out there that are listening to us and kids and stuff like that. But as far as us just doing what we're doing, I guess it just makes sense that it flies by because, you're having fun and talking about the things that you love to do. And most importantly, you get that gratification of we're actually helping people, right? I don't know. I mean, we sit here and, we're all busy running our own businesses, doing what we need to do. And we have our families and we take this time. And it's not just the hour that we spend or the hour and a half that we spend doing this podcast. A lot more goes into it. And especially you, Edgar, I'm just glad to be a part of it. You put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears as far as like all the structure of it all and all the background stuff. I don't think anybody has a clue aside from others that are in the podcast industry or who do these types of things, the stuff that, and the effort that you really put into it. And I just want to say thank you. And this is just the least that I can do. It's just blown by. I'm looking forward to year 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 because this isn't something that we started and said, we're just going to give it a shot and see what it's going to do. We're in it for the long haul here. And as long as we get positive feedback from everybody and we still get those messages that we're helping people out and guiding people and putting them in the right direction, it makes it all worth it for all of us. And I think we're all going to continue to keep doing it.
I remember us having the conversation, John, where we were talking about, oh man, we only have 8 episodes and, eventually we'll have more. And just like you said, we're just having fun at the same time that we're doing it. Yeah. And like they say, if you're having fun at what you do, it's not work. And, we've kind of enjoyed that journey throughout the whole process. So we'll get into it here. The other shout out that I had for today goes to Ken Burkett, and he's a follower of the podcast. We see him on the lives. He's probably on the live. If you are on the live, Ken, give us a quick shout out here. And I don't want to make this chat system today, John, what is it that you call it? The forgotten chat?
Yeah, right. We were trying to come up with the name. We used to call on Podbean Insta Chat, right? And Ed was like, what should we call it? And I go, the forgotten chat. And yeah, I don't even know where it's at or how to get to it or what to look at. And
here's the interesting thing. We are using Riverside FM. And so, to do that, you guys will see me on the videos a lot looking up at the screen because I have a screen ahead and I have my phone on me, just kind of trying to manage all these things that are going on. But today, John, our forgotten chat is not forgotten because there is a lot of people on here sending messages. Zac says, all y'all for 2 points. So everybody listening in Texas, we say y'all a lot. And I came from California and I used to joke around about it all the time. John comes out and I start dropping y'alls left and right. And he's like, damn, Edgar, you just dropping them left and right.
Oh, yeah.
But my favorite is all y'all. So when somebody's telling you how y'all doing, that means you. But when you are in a group and somebody says all y'all, that's for the entire group. So we always joke around here in Texas that if you're dropping the all y'alls, really you're kind of getting that 2 point. Joel is saying, LOL, sorry, man, I misheard you. It's okay, Joel. I know I'm the crybaby out of the crowd. It's okay. We're all good. I'll take that award there. So, and then Janie on here is saying, love y'all. Mama Janie, we love you too. And Zac, 52 madness. So I agree. 52 is a complete madness that it's gone by this quick. What we do want to say, just like John was saying, is there's a lot more to come. We keep talking about it. And man, John, we were talking about it. We were talking about looking at this 10 years from now, the change and stuff like that. So that just kind of tells you where we go. For everybody out there, we'll give you a quick recap of our meeting. So everybody out there, Zac, John, and I got together for the first time this last weekend. And John flew out Saturday night on the red eye, got in at midnight. Zac drove up 4.5 hours from Houston. And I wish Zac was on here. I know, Zac, that you're listening. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, it definitely has been a highlight of my lifetime. And I'm not just saying this, but our chemistry on video, on the podcast has been one thing. And so you kind of think, is that really the chemistry that you're going to have when you meet? And John, when we met, it was just like if we had known each other since high school. It was crazy. And you guys, both of you have become, literally in every sense of the word, you guys have become like brothers to me. So if I look back at this entire journey of Pool Nation, John, and I have to say at this point, that's been the highlight of the entire Pool Nation podcast, the Pool Nation journey has been that we've been able to meet and that we have that relationship like that. If I was to say, you know what, if Pool Nation crash and burn tomorrow, John,
yep,
it was all worth it because of just the friendship that we've been able to, come out of this. And I know some people might be like, that's corny and stuff like that. But unless you were with us and unless you saw it, it's kind of hard to describe and hard to understand. So I want to thank both of you for your hard work and dedication onto the podcast. Both of you go out and you run your companies, and we're definitely in times where things are very crazy. So for you guys to take your time to put notes together, to go through the script, to come with ideas, to jump on the phone calls, to scramble back to do these podcasts and do it week in and week out is a lot of dedication. So I also appreciate that. And I know that you guys are in this for the same reason, and that is to help other pool pros and try to elevate our industry. So John, thank you. Zac, I know you're listening. Thank you. John, let's do a quick recap of what you guys thought it felt like when we finally connected.
I think you nailed it. Anytime you meet somebody for the first time, right? And you could talk to people over the phone and something like that, but usually there's always that little bit of awkwardness, right? Or you're just like, okay, and everybody's kind of like on their best behavior, on their honeymoon period, trying to feel people out because how you talk to somebody on the phone or, on podcasts or whatever, it's a lot different than when you meet somebody in person. But with us, it was different. I mean, as soon as we saw each other, straight to a hug. And then that minute on, it was all just, we didn't stop talking. We were sharing stories. We were talking business. We were going from place to place to place to place, staying out till whenever, looking at homes, it was just amazing. Janie was talking to me and she thought, wow, we've only been here for like 3 days and it feels like we've been here. Like the stuff that we've done in the places we went felt like, we got a lot done. Because usually whenever we go somewhere, it's always just kind of chill and relax. But we were chilling and relaxing and having a great time while doing a bunch of things. And I think, like you said, the chemistry was right there. And you didn't catfish me, and either did Zac. And I was worried that was going to happen. So, I was like, oh my God, was that really Edgar? You're going to show up as some weird old dude, you know what I mean, in his 90s or something like that.
Freaking John.
But it was perfect. And same thing with Leanne too. She was just awesome, and she was everything and more from what you described her. It was just great. It absolutely was. And it was so awesome that, we're considering moving to Texas, and I'll kind of let that out. We talked about this, and I've already spoken to all the family members, are already notified, right? I've already called, testing out feelers about my business and selling it. Everything's in motion already.
It's in motion.
It is definitely in motion. And you were right. You talked to us about it when we first met, and we said, hey, when you ever bring us out to Texas, that I'm going to want to move out there. And I got to say, you were 100% correct. It's a different type of world out there. And I think for us, we're still young, not the youngest, but young enough to where we can turn over or close a chapter and turn over a new chapter in our life and start doing stuff with pools out there in Texas. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. And I think us being out there can bring a new dynamic, hopefully.
I'm super excited about that, John, and I'm going to call the mayor of Prosper and have a chat with him about you.
You're crazy.
You and Zac, because Zac loves
You're going to have a parade for us when we show.
We're a small town. I'm going to call the mayor. You know what? You watch. I'm going to call the mayor, and you'll see. I'll have them.
I will not put it past you. Look, everyone listening out there, look, Edgar, he knows a lot of people, and Leanne was talking about, and we were all joking, saying that for everything and anything, Edgar got a guy, right? So whatever it is you talk about, I mean, it could be branding cows to tie-dye T-shirts to bullfrog breeding, If you bring that up, he'll say, oh, I know a guy. And believe it or not, he does, because he's just so friendly. Everywhere he goes, he's always talking to people, making friends, helping people out especially. And in turn, he's built a lot of relationships with a lot of people out there. And he knows a guy or a girl for just about everything and anything you could possibly need. And it's pretty funny, actually. It's pretty funny.
Here's my thing, and John, I'll call him and be like, hey, you know what? Send me a little recording. I want John and Zac to move to Texas, so let's see what you'll have to say. And you know what? They'll be friendly, and they'll do one. So on our forgotten shot here, so Zac is saying, and we were joking around about it because Zac, when he was coming up, he was like, I didn't know whether to shake hands or hug or what. So his wife was telling him, dude, go straight in for the hug, And then Justin, his partner, was telling him, go in for the mafia kiss. You got to do mafia kiss. So.
Yes. Dude, Zac was awesome, dude.
Zac, I am so sorry you're not on this podcast, because we got to get your side of this story. This is just hilarious.
Yeah. And we also got to meet Megan Kendrick, the owner of Pool Pro magazine. Right?
Yes.
And she's going to join us live on the Instagram Live this coming Wednesday. So if you're listening, Megan, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you. We had some it was fun times in that recording and that interview, and the photographers that we had there. We were just laughing and laughing and laughing. I don't think I've laughed so hard in a very long time. We had some, especially Zac and I. Zac, I won't let the cat out the bag though. Okay. But that'll be our little secret of what happened.
I have that recorded, John, just to let you know.
Oh, me too.
That on video.
And Janie recorded it also, and has photographic evidence of what we were laughing at too. So yeah, it's pretty funny.
We had a great time, guys, and when we were doing, I'm going to think that she's probably thinking, man, these guys are just absolutely crazy, because we got into that photo shoot. We were having a blast, acting like, 5-year-olds at best, John? Either one of two things, John. She's either going to think that we're crazy or that we're just absolute clowns all the time, because we're just always goofing off and having a good time.
Probably both.
So I think we need to add a disclaimer, John, and that is that we definitely have fun in everything that we do. So we're always goofballs, So if you guys are going, hey, we want to partner with the Pool Nation podcast with John, Zac, and Edgar, you guys just need to understand that we're definitely going to be doing this while we're having a good time, even though, John, you take the prize hands down.
Right.
Let me tell everybody that's on the podcast or that listens to this podcast, so you guys get a glimpse of John's personality on the podcast. Now, think of that probably like 10 times because, John, your personality, like you can pick it up on the podcast, but in person, oh my God, it's like 10 times bigger than what the bits that you get on the podcast. And
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but
that's a good thing because you're pretty quick. You're pretty witted.
I tell people, look, you'll either love me or you hate me. And to be honest, I don't give a shit either way. If you hate me or not, I'm just me, right? So I'll tell it how it is. When I see it how it is, I say it. You never have to worry about where you stand with me. If I think something or see something, I'm going to say it. And sometimes I might rub somebody the wrong way, but whatever.
That is exactly what Leanne said. So Leanne had talked to Zac before. We've kind of been on some calls, but she had never met you. And she said that exactly that. She was like, John is who he is. Like, there is no behave one way and do it. It was like, she was like, he's got a great sense of humor. He knows who he is. He feels comfortable. He's quick. He's witted. he is who he is. So you're going to know who John is. And John, it was fun. And Zac too. Zac was a complete, hoot and goofball with us. Even we're goofing off on the photo shoot and he's just kind of...
Oh, we got pictures to prove.
Oh, yeah. Those are definitely coming soon, guys. John, let's talk a little bit about our first season because it went by really fast. Almost a year ago, I called you, I called Zac, and I said, hey, I'm getting calls. I want people to do the podcast. And here we are today doing episode 52, the end of season 1. Let me ask you this. I want the listeners to hear why it was that you wanted to do the podcast when we initially had that call.
So it's no secret the whole reason why I'm doing what I'm doing as far as, phone calls that I take, text messages that I do, or the guys and girls that I try to help out. And I've been doing it more on a micro level for years. But when the opportunity came up, when you called about the podcast and the lives and being a part of Pool Nation, I looked at it as an opportunity where we'd be able to reach more people. And believe it or not, that's the main driving force behind doing it. When we started, I had nobody. And I'll be the first to say it. And I have no shame in my game that I stumbled and I fell. I struggled my way up, trying to understand and learn everything on my own. And I took pride in that because I knew that if I went through it and I got through it myself, eventually I would build a strong foundation, obviously, but it would be a bumpy road getting there. But, when we've gotten to the point now where we feel comfortable, especially like the technical side and the repair side and the chemistry and, the pool industry in general, opposed to just the business side, I've had experience in that in my past life, working in retail in that area, but having a platform to where I can now provide that service. Because if anybody ever asks me, when they ask me, what would one thing you can change or one thing you would do is, if I was able to find a mentor or have a mentor available, and I didn't have that. And I'm a part of this pool industry, and the success of the pool industry is a success for my company. So I look at it like the better we do as a whole, the better I can perform and the better I can do in my business. So there's no secret to that. Being able to at least offer some help or help 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 people or whatever it is, and have a platform and be able to relay a message of the lessons that I've learned and the struggles and the trials and tribulations that we've been through on this journey to where we're at now. And then to continue to share experiences and learnings that we still learn about every single day, that we still go through every single day, is the whole reason why we're doing this. Because I've said it 1,000 times, a rising tide lifts all ships. And I saw a need, especially on the business aspect of our industry, where we have a lot of different sources, or we have different programs, other podcasts that are out there, classes, certification stuff, as far as like the chemistry and the textbook type of stuff. But as far as the human aspect of it or the business aspect of it, I saw that there was a huge lack in that. And understandably, it's the most difficult part of running a successful business. You can teach anybody how to do something, like, as far as chemistry, right? Okay, if you want a dose of pool, this is what you add. Or if you have a green pool, this is what you do. If you replace a pump, this is how you go about it. Or set time clocks or whatever in the hell it is, real simple book stuff. If you can read and you can remember things, then you can apply it and put it in action. But the human portion of it, that is the most complicated part of a business. And being able to share experiences with that, and then a fundamental understanding of your business as far as financials and metrics, because that's the thing nobody wants to talk about. And everybody's afraid to talk about because it's very personal. And it's hard to have a conversation with somebody about something so personal. It's just difficult. It really is. So us being able to talk about it and have these classes and answer questions and do this, we're able to build a better business from the ground up. Or we're able to, I look at it as like reinforcing the foundation, because the majority of the pool guys that are in the business right now, they've started and they've built whatever foundation that they had. And in my opinion, a lot of people out there aren't on as stable ground as they should be. What we're trying to accomplish is getting people to slow down, go back and get back to basics, and understand that, hey, it's not too late. You can go back and fortify, or you can go back and rebuild that foundation so that moving forward, you have a better experience and that you're more successful, which in turn makes all of us more successful because we become a more respectable industry as a whole.
For me, we've talked about it. I remember being in the backyard trying to figure out why a pump wouldn't prime, and having that feeling of being lost because the customer is home and he's waiting. And I can't figure it out. I'm new in the industry. I didn't have anybody to turn to, made calls, nobody was answering. The customer was still waiting. I'm out there 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, trying to figure it out and feeling that sense of panic that I can't figure it out. And then having somebody finally answer the phone and kind of go, hey, Jandy valve, actuator, put your ear by it. If you're hearing the little suction, then that's what it was. And something so simple to me that has always stood out. But it's like they say, what hurts you is what you don't know. So I checked everything else, never even thought, because I didn't know. And so to me, it was, as people started reaching out for help, that's the number one thing that really kind of stuck in my head. And that's how the vision, I think, started. I thought that's what it was going to be like. But this really has changed into something else where we see, like you say, a lot of the people asking from, the business standpoint, and just in a lot of different areas of business, whether it was the podcast on hiring and some of the HR stuff. That was a huge podcast, and people asked so many questions after that. That was really one of the reasons why I felt that I could help, is because I remembered being in that position and didn't want to be in that position. And now when guys call me and they're out in the field and they're trying to fix something and they can't figure it out, it just kind of takes me back to that spot, being in front of that pump, trying to figure out what was wrong with it. So I'm just glad it really has grown a lot, and that people are feeling comfortable and asking questions and wanting to talk about it. So that, to me, was really why I wanted to definitely be able to help and do this. John, let's take a word from our sponsors. When I come back, I want to ask you about maybe some of your favorite moments or moments that stand out from the podcast. So let's just take a quick forward. Can't speak today. Quick word from our sponsors, guys, and we'll be right back.
The SPPA is dedicated to the niche general liability insurance needs of pool and spa professionals. As industry leaders, we'll fight for you, protect you, and be there for you. We provide extraordinary service before and after the membership and insurance is in effect. Insured members of the program get the best customer support and have peace of mind that their alliance is their voice and always fighting for their program and insurance needs. We proudly insure thousands of pool and spa professionals across the United States. With over 30 years encompassing the pool and spa industry, we know the needs of pool and spa professionals. Through the SPPA program, there are 3 tailored and customized general liability insurance options to pick from. For more information on our programs and insurance options, visit our site at www.thesppa.com. The sound of you continually pitching pool care poles into the trash. The sound of you using an Ultimate Pool Tools carbon fiber pool care pole for years to come. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Do you know the actual cost of the pool service you provide or the financial health of your pool business? If you don't, it can put you out of business. Pool Nation has created a business training that focuses on the financial side of your business.
What we've done, guys, is we've put a training class together that focuses on 5 metrics that we've created. The goal is you do it, and by the time that you're done with the class, you have all those numbers, you have all that data.
It is the only course that as you enter your data into our exclusive software, it will tell you how much money you are making or losing. It's that simple.
We talk about the metrics, we talk about insurance, what to look for, we talk about billing software.
By the time you are done with the training, you will know your exact cost to service a pool, fixed cost of cleaning, your average profit per pool, your average monthly rate, repair profits and profit percentage, and how much money you are actually making.
And we have had people that have taken the class and had some cash flow issues, and they've made some adjustments with their billing software, and that's kind of solved that issue.
During the training, utilizing our software, you will create your business profit and loss. Once you create your P&L, we will cover the fundamentals of the P&L and how important it is to the success of your business. For more information and the next training dates, visit www.poolnation.online. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you get to keep. For more training dates, go to www.poolnation.online.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to John today. We are talking about the fact that we are at the end of season 1. We've done 52 episodes. We're sharing our story of being able to get together with John and Zac. So, John, let me ask you this. Maybe what have been some of your favorite moments, and maybe if not favorite moments, but moments that stood out for you?
Oh, God, there's so many of them. I like to have fun. I'm a serious guy. I really am. And anybody who knows me or deals with me on a business level, I see you shaking your head right there.
I'm trying not to interrupt, and you're like, I'm a serious guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you want to be.
Well, look, when it comes down to money, business, life, family, friends, right? I'm serious. But when I'm around my family, my friends, I open up and I kind of let loose, and I am who I am. But I enjoy having fun, and I enjoy laughing, because the industry that we're in, it's tough, especially if you're out there hustling and grinding on your own, and you're out there working in whatever temperatures that you're working in, cold, heat, humidity, and you got tons of pools, and you're dealing with everything that you're dealing with. I don't have to rehash all the struggles we go through as pool service techs and pool business owners, but to be able to let loose and just have some fun and still talk about things that we love to do is really the highlight. And one thing kind of sticks out is like the hashtag, and I know that's one of your favorites. And for me, it really was. And we just, It was just fun. It's almost like you kind of escape reality of all the shit we got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And we were just kind of having fun and doing stuff like that. The people that we've met and that we've interviewed, it's been, how do I put it? When you're in it, knee deep in stuff, and you're inside that circle and things are happening around you, it's hard to get a good perspective of reality. And by us doing the podcast and interviewing the manufacturers and the guests that we've had the pleasure to have on and talk about certain issues, especially having Bob on, I've had the opportunity to step back outside that circle and see things from other people's perspectives and kind of how this whole big, crazy machine works. And to me, those are the types of things that make me tick. Gets my mind moving and thinking, right? Because I'm a thinker. I'm always analyzing. I'm always trying to figure out what's going on and, most importantly, why things are happening, so that we can figure out how to either, if we like what's happening and we understand why it's happening, we can make the choice to replicate that scenario or replicate that so we get that same result. On the flip side, if something is happening that we don't like that's happening and we understand why it's happening, then we're able to hopefully prevent that from happening again. So that's where the biggest takeaways that I've had through this podcast. And then plus the good mornings, right? I look forward to those every single week, and because that's kind of like our opportunity to just kind of talk about life and have a little bit fun. But for me, it's primarily just the learning and being able to just be ourselves and have fun.
For me, I'm going to have to say one of my most memorable moments, John, was your birthday episode.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I almost forgot about that. Happy birthday, the Marilyn Monroe. Oh, my God.
That was definitely one of the highlights.
That was embarrassing. I was actually blushing. I'm glad we weren't on video, right? I am absolutely glad we weren't on video then, because you would have seen me like beet red. And I never blush. And when I heard that, I had no idea what was going to happen. And when I heard that track come on, oh my God.
That was a great one.
That was pretty hilarious.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
I love that one. So we laughed about it. And I still have the little clip, John, cut out when I edited the podcast. We just kind of cut that little part out, and I have it. And every once in a while, I just kind of play it just because it's so funny. And I kind of relive that moment there. So definite highlight. Let me ask you the next question. I want to ask you what you've learned the most from season one. And we obviously talk about us getting in to educate the pool pros out there because we saw the need and we had the pool pros reaching out. And for me, one of the things that I've learned is that this business, the pool industry business, that I thought I knew so much about, John, that I kind of thought I got this, has changed so much. It's really going to be a continuously changing industry. So I thought, know the industry, we're good. This is what it's kind of like on a day-to-day basis. All of a sudden, that new normal for us is completely gone. So the things that, I thought, we could talk about this, we can educate on this, it really kind of threw all of us for this big, huge loop. I really kind of don't see that changing, but that's one of the things that I've learned the most is that even in our industry, things have changed so much that it's not the same thing anymore.
Usually when you have such catastrophic things that happen, it's one thing at one time, and then we go through it for a while, that struggle, and then before the next thing happens, it's quite some time. But the last year or two has just been one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And not only that, but like you're saying, just the growth and the evolving. So since I started to right now, especially the last 2 years and 2 years moving forward, I see the pool industry just blowing up, like as far as like technology and understanding and respect for the pool industry, especially. And it's just been a whirlwind on how fast everything's changed and moved. So I would have to agree with you 1000%. For me, the biggest thing is the things you thought you knew, and no matter how much preparation, look, I'll be the first to admit, we prepared for a lot of things. I think we do a good job of planning for the future and foreseeing these things. For us, we got knocked on our ass as far as just how everything happened. There was no amount of planning that could have been done that would have prepared us for what we've been through. And I want to look at it as more of like a humbling experience for us. You try to prepare, and sometimes you just can't, and there's nothing you can do that's going to prepare you for it. You can be as prepared as possible, but sometimes it's just not enough. And the journey, and the most important thing is what you're going to do about it, or what lessons you're going to take from it, so that you can somehow be better prepared next time it happens, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It's been just quite the whirlwind, and the unexpected happened. And it's been quite the ride.
Yeah, and definitely things are different, and they're going to be different, and you need to run your businesses different. So I think to me, it's been a great thing, John, because originally we talked and like, these are the things that we're going to talk about. Here's what we're looking at. And as that business has evolved and changed, so has everything that we've had to do. We've kind of had to change, and we've had to adapt to all the things that are going on. But it's really exciting to me because you have a lot of people still reaching out, asking for the help, making those changes to their businesses in order to be able to survive. So let me ask you another question. So we goof around a lot, and obviously that's no secret. Have you had an embarrassing moment, or maybe a moment when you said, "Oh my God, I can't believe they said that"?
Well, yeah, it was. Well, like I said, that happy birthday thing, that was probably, I blushed. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe Edgar is playing this to the world. That was probably the most embarrassing moment on the podcast, especially for me. Other than that, I like to make fun of myself. I think it's healthy. I think any good sense of humor, you have to be able to, make fun of yourself and have fun. If you're a little too serious and you take things too personal all the time, then, you miss out on a lot of wonderful times in life, right? So I've lived and learned my lesson growing up, and I've just kind of learned to just kind of accept and be happy with who I am. And so not many things really bother me or I let embarrass me, but that song you played, absolutely. I would have probably ran or shut the laptop down, when you turned it on. I was like, holy shit.
Well, here's the thing, John. I knew...
But I enjoyed it. I wouldn't even changed it.
I knew it was going to be an issue, so I have it right here, and I'm going to play it again for you. Are you ready?
Oh, my God.
Here we go. I'm going to catch up. Nah, I'm just messing with you.
Blush. Holy shit. Look, I'm already doing it. Look. You see? Look.
Oh, that's awesome.
Holy crap.
Awesome.
That's
yeah,
funny.
So
yeah,
I agree. I would say that was kind of some of the most fun, embarrassing moments. I knew you were embarrassed, and man, you don't get embarrassed.
We've had so many. I mean,
you don't get embarrassed.
It's just because we laugh every single episode. Someone's making a crack. Someone's making a joke, right? It's just our personalities and what we're doing. I think that's why we hit it off so well. It's just go back and listen to every single episode again, and every single one we're laughing, we're poking fun at each other. That's what friends are about, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to have a good time while doing this. I think if we didn't have that dynamic, that this would suck. It would just be boring. We're just kind of talking, take the human nature out of it. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. That really just humanizes everything and it makes it more real. So I enjoy the shit out of it.
Looking back, has there been any eye-opening or surprising moments on the podcast in this season? Because I'll give you an example. For me, one of the things that I didn't expect was to see as many pool girls in the industry. I knew that there were some pool girls in the industry, but
Sure.
It's been a surprise to me, not just how many there are, John, but how many are successful at it, how many are real pool pros, and then also see a lot of pool girls out there that aren't just the single polars. I know quite a few pool girls that actually own their business and have people work for them and offer all the services and all that kind of stuff. So, to me, that's been, I didn't expect that. I expected there to be some, and I truly believe that they bring up the talent in our industry. I hadn't foreseen that. I hadn't seen that. I hadn't caught on to that before.
I agree with you on that. We thought we were like 1 in a million when Mama started doing pools. But the truth is there's tons of women out there that are killing it every single day, and much respect to them for doing it because, and again, not saying that women can't, I think women are more capable of it. And I've said it 100 times. I think they bring, like you said, they bring a talent and they bring an extra touch or a special touch to the industry. Women's class, they can do just as well as guys can do, but they also, but unfortunately, our industry is looked upon as a man's type of industry, right? And that's just the truth. And it's good to see great women out there changing that mentality or changing that perception and showing that, this industry is inclusive opposed to just being exclusive. But for me, there's a couple things that kind of got me. One was when I first started, everybody I spoke to about the pool industry was very guarded and nobody wanted to help and nobody was willing to listen or nobody wanted help or nobody heeded any advice and everybody was just and that might have just been my bubble that I was in and the people that I was speaking to. But what I've learned, and that's why I thought it was going to be more of a challenge to reach out to people and to actually help spark some change within them, as far as like their business and how they do things, that there are so many people out there that are willing and that are hungry to better themselves. Where my first perception was that, this is like, wow, there's cranky people that are jaded that have been in this industry that don't want to really better themselves and are just happy and compliant and they're just okay with the way things are. But in the reality is that's just a small portion of it. There's so many more people that are either new to the industry or that have been in the industry that want to grow, that want to do better, that want to better themselves, that are looking to be better at what they do. And that's been an eye-opener to me, and it's become evident because of the feedback that I've gotten and the hundreds of messages that we get as far as like supporting us, people asking for favor, admitting failures, being honest, and saying, hey, this is what I've done and how I want to change. That to me has been an eye opener and has fueled my fire in wanting to continue to do this because I see it making an impact. Though, I'm not saying that we're changing the whole world, but hey, if we can help 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 100 companies and families in just a small way, then it makes it all worth it. The other thing is the shortage, right? Is a big issue. And I don't think we're expecting it to be as bad as it was. We spoke about it and we've talked about it since last year, basically. But we didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. And that's what I was talking about before. We all kind of got knocked on our butts as far as like the trichlor and some of the dry, but the other chlorine like cal hypo and liquid and acid and equipment and all that we knew, the trichlor was going to be down. We knew some of the dry was going to be bad. We knew that we had some product shortages, right? And they were kind of not at the same time, but they were kind of, we were going through one issue and then another issue, but then we kind of got hit with everything all at once and nobody saw that coming. And I don't think anybody can sit there and really say, hey, we expected all this to happen all at once. Through phases, yes, and we were dealing with it, or at least all at once at this magnitude for this duration. We're still struggling. There's still people out there right now that are hurting bad. They still can't find equipment. They still can't find chlorine in any form. They can't find acid too. Has just become a huge issue for us, and it's just been almost overwhelming. I think that has been one of the things that kind of caught me off guard that I didn't expect to this magnitude.
Yeah, this last year has definitely brought a lot of things that we just weren't expecting in our industry, which is just normally a pretty steady, pretty routine type of industry. And we've kind of all been knocked upside down. To me, another one of the things, John, that I see a lot is, a lot of infighting within the industry. And I knew that there was, and that there's, that kind of stuff goes on. But it can get pretty nasty out there. And it's a bummer because I feel that we need to bring ourselves up. We want to be, like you say, be in that category, which with the HVAC, with the electricians, with the plumbers. And if that's the image that sometimes we're portraying out there, that's going to affect our industry. But I think one of the things that disappoints me a little bit is not having everybody always be willing to help. And to me, and Emily talked about it in her podcast, which is, there's a pie and there's a slice of pie for everybody, right? There's enough business for everybody. And what we should be doing is we should be helping each other out. And I'm not saying that you have to get along with everybody, right? Because people can kind of disagree with other people and not agree. But sometimes, unfortunately, in our industry, it kind of goes down a path that I don't enjoy, seeing that.
For sure. And I don't think any industry can escape that drama. You got people involved and you got some good people. For the majority, I think great people, good people out there, but you do have some assholes. That's for sure. And that's no secret, but you can see to a certain degree, that it's life-changing, right? And it's affecting their it's human nature to get defensive. But I'm talking about just instead of helping each other out, sometimes it's just, I'm not talking about, shortage. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about helping each other out, helping ourselves out, right? Putting your hand out to reach, to help somebody else, to help better ourselves. So, I'm not talking, and I know that there's a lot of guys that are. Yeah, no, I know.
Upset.
I know exactly what you're saying right now.
And that's something. So that's why always from day one, our mission with Pool Nation has been to be a nation of pool pros, and that is to help each other out and to reach out to anybody that asks for help so that we can do that and we can, improve our industry, which is really kind of the goal. John and go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I understand where you're coming from and what you're saying right there, and tagging on to like Emily said, it's human nature, unfortunately, that people want to guard their own and, they figure and they say, hey, look, you're in the same business as me and, you're going to steal from my company or, you're getting business here doing that. And that's why people don't want to help out. And that's the unfortunate thing. The only thing I think we can do is if we enable an environment or foster an environment where they see that they can benefit from it and others can benefit from it and they can still flourish or actually betters them. That's a long journey or a long road or a tall mountain to climb. But I think we're on the right track as far as doing it. But industry-wise, that's in every industry. And when I was in retail, the same exact thing. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and it's unfortunate because the truth is if we all came together and helped each other, we would all reach our goals much sooner, much quicker. Because, like you said, that pie is huge. You drive down the street, and you can see a gas station on one corner and then catty corner and another gas station, but they're both surviving, right? But they're literally right next to each other. Well, the truth is that pie is so big, there's plenty enough business for everybody. So, and there's enough business that, hey, it's just easier when I'm driving on this side of the road, it's easier to pull over here and then to turn around and come around, make a U-turn and go to this one. Or I just might happen to have a credit card or that store card over at this one and I go here, or they have a good employer, whatever. There's plenty enough business out there for everybody. And I think the sooner, I agree with you, the sooner that we can get to that point where people understand that if we work with each other, that we'll be able to accomplish so much more than doing it alone. There's a saying that say if you work on your own, you can definitely get somewhere faster or you can move quicker. But when you work together, you can do so much more. It might be a little slower, but the results, you can do just so much more together. That's like the question of like, what's the purpose of life, right? It's one of those things that I don't know if we're ever going to be able to answer or if we're ever going to be able to really figure that portion of it out. But I can tell you that you can make a little bit of an impact little by little. And I think what we're doing is in the right direction and what a lot of other people are starting to do and we start seeing happen, right? There's groups out there, there's other podcasts, there's Instagram especially. It's good to see people just kind of come together and kind of slowly but surely. I think we're making progress. Are we ever going to defeat it? Probably not, but I think we're headed in the right direction. That's
our number one goal, guys, is really to become that nation of pool pros. And we kind of talk about it all the time, me, John, and Zach. And sometimes people might go, oh, that's kind of corny, but that's the reality of it. That's what we want to do is we want to create that nation of pool pros to help each other out and to really kind of elevate each other. John, the other thing that has been interesting to me is the amount of people that have been willing to partner with us. For example, Bob, that was huge for us, right? For Bob, a guy with his reputation in the industry that's been in it for so long, and for him to partner with us, then for us to reach out to Dennis at Jandy, and they've kind of jumped in, and then we had Steve, Hayward, the same thing. I knew people were going to probably want to be on, but
Jared Schwab,
yeah. And please forgive me if I don't mention your name, but all of you guys have been amazing. Segura came on, Terry, all these people that have come on the podcast and have been willing to talk and share. And if you think about it, John, we were a brand new podcast that comes out. People are like, who are these guys? Why should we partner with them? But everybody's been with the open doors that have kind of jumped out to partner with us and help us. So that to me was also a big surprise of how many people in the industry are willing to go, yes, we see what you want to do, and they jump out.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we all have a common goal, and is just to do better, right? And to get our messages out and to help each other out. And, of course, manufacturers have, their agenda of, their products and stuff. But I think holistically, or when they're looking at it, at the end of the day, they're just trying to help us be better at our job, be more successful so they can be more successful. And, I think it has definitely been a lot easier, like you said, people that have reached out or people that are willing to come on and talk to three knuckleheads that they didn't know from Adam. It gives me more hope that, that, hey, look, we are all on the same page. And sometimes it's not the manufacturers against the service guys, or the service guys against the distributors, or the distributors against them, and we're really in this together. And to be able to have candid conversations with them and ask them hard questions, and them to be willing to come out here and, to be honest, stick their necks out to have these types of conversations, because we're three knuckleheads. Right?
Three big knuckleheads, right?
Three big knuckleheads.
Everybody listening to our podcast is what we do, all inclusive. And so it doesn't matter who you are. If there's a topic that we think that's important and that you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. We're here to help educate, to bring those people on that want to talk and want to share and want to obviously have the conversations. That's, definitely what we're here for. John, our quest has been, to help, educate as much as we can out there for the pool pros. But if you had to pick one thing that you've learned the most in this entire last season, what has that been? I could go first. To me, one of the things that I've learned the most is that there's a lot of pool pros out there that are the single polars that want to know more about their businesses, that want to grow their businesses. And it might be the single polar just really kind of trying to run a lot more effective and profit-wise kind of business, or those single polars that are at a stage that want to move into the stage where Zac is at, where you have employees and you have all of that. If I look back and I look at our journey where we started, I thought it was going to be a lot more specific to like water chemistry, to repairs, to that side of it. And it has been very clear that a lot of the business side and a lot of the running your business day to day has come out of it. I mean, we even because we were asked so many times, we put a business training class together, because a lot of them we don't know if we're profitable. We don't know how much money we're making. And we stopped doing some of the stuff that we were doing to kind of obviously put something together that would be able to help them in that area. So to me, as I learned that, a lot of these pool pros, and I'm super excited about it, that they don't see themselves as just pool guys, but they see themselves as business owners. And that's a big transition. When you start and you're just out doing pools and you're doing repairs, it's one thing. You see yourself as a pool guy. But to see a lot of people kind of going, we need to make that shift in mentality and we need to focus more on running a business. That to me has been a surprise and something that I've learned along our journey and how we've kind of changed.
To pinpoint on one, I guess, has been an eye-opener for me would be that this pool industry is a lot smaller than I thought it was. And when I'm saying not smaller like in size, but I mean like in people, and like people knowing people, and how fast a message can shoot across an industry. I thought that we kind of just lived in a bubble in my little area, us doing our thing for the years that we've been doing it. After doing this podcast, just seeing how more of a tight-knit community we are. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
yes, and something that I had not put a lot of focus on, but it is true. It's a tight-knit group.
It really is, this industry. It really is. And a message really does go across the industry very quickly, and good or bad. And I think it's a responsibility of anybody who tries to voice an opinion or that is trying to do stuff to either help the industry or convey messages, just to be really careful on what they say and how they say it, because people are listening and it does affect people. So, that would be my thing that I would kind of pinpoint it, is just that we're, which is a good thing, that we're, as big as this industry is, which it really is, we're really small, and we need to kind of keep that into perspective and to know that we're kind of all in this together.
And look at this, John. Just right as we're talking, I get an email from somebody saying, hey, Edgar, we would like to have an employee handbook. And so they're kind of reaching out saying, hey, you got any advice on putting together a handbook? And that's the thing that excites me, because that tells me that pool guy is making that transition into a full-blown company. And when you have a full-blown company, there's a lot of areas that you need to focus on. For them to reach out and be asking, that's kind of what excites me, John, because as I start to see that, I start to see our industry elevating, just one little step at a time. So it's definitely very exciting.
And what's exciting is that they're willing to ask, right? It's always hard to ask for help. There's some people that all they want is people to help you, help, and then they don't want to help, But for the most part, the majority of people are very, very reserved from reaching out and saying, hey, I'm in a position where I need some help. Can you help me? Especially with something like that. And when people hold themselves back or don't ask for help when needed is when you have to go through unnecessary struggles, and you have to fall on your face when you really didn't have to if you would have just asked somebody. And I guess that's the safe place we're trying to create here, so that people can just ask, and and if we have the answer, we're going to help. And if we can steer them in the right direction, we're going to do it. Because again, it all falls back to what you said, what I said, what Zac always says is, like, a better industry is better for all of us. So, yeah, man, that's friggin' awesome. That really is.
You know who you are that sent me the message, and yes, I will reach out to you. We'll talk about it. And yes, I do have some things that you can put together. So, John, let me ask you maybe the last question here. What would you like to see us accomplish in this next coming season? And I know that's kind of a lot to kind of throw at you there at the last second. That's a big pill to swallow.
I think the progress that we've made so far has been just amazing. I'd like to be able to reach more people consistently. I think the message that we share here on our podcasts and on the lives that we do is some really valuable information, because it's tried, true, and tested, and it works. And it's not just things we pull out of our ass that we talk about. These are the things that we've experienced and we've gone through and we've done. And when we talk on these podcasts and we say this, there's so many questions that I get asked on a daily that we've already talked about and we've covered on our podcasts multiple times. I guess it'd be what I would personally like is to find a way that we can reach more people more often. And I know we already get thousands and thousands of downloads, but somehow, some way, make it more accessible and make it easier so that our message gets across to more people more often, so that they have it as a resource if they ever need it in the future.
It's interesting because you have to do different things. Like the people that watch the Instagram lives are not the same people that listen to the podcast. I get people that message me all the time, and I'm like, oh, we talked about it on the podcast. And they're like, well, we don't listen to podcasts. That's not what we do. I think one of the things that I would like to see us accomplish is we've taken this crazy turn in our industry from the standpoint of all this craziness that's going on, and things aren't going to change. They're not going to change anytime soon. And just to tell you, John, how crazy things are, there are companies out there that are buying freight lines. There is big retail companies that are buying the cargo ships that hold the containers so that they have all the space that they want. because right now there's just a lack of space to be able to get the things shipped from one place to the other. So think about it, John. These retailers are willing to spend billions of dollars to own their own ships, to man these ships with crews and captains, just so that they can have the space that they need to be able to be successful. So that tells you that things so far don't look like they're going to change. And there's nothing bad about that. There's absolutely nothing bad about that. I think it's a great thing. But we as business owners need to think, if those guys are changing at that level, then we need to change at our level, and we need to change the way that we do business. I think what I would like to see a little bit going into next season is, how do we help those pool pros that are not only starting or that have been in the industry, but to be able to see that business strategy and be able to not just reach out to them, John, but kind of have a platform where they can go and they can ask a little bit more personalized, right? Private questions, or, hey, I have an example and I want to get an answer to this specific scenario, right? And then us be able to talk about that, share that, and then there's going to definitely be a lot of people in the same shoes that they are. So how do we create that, and how do we transition that to create a step up so that they are getting a lot more, of that personalized? And I think it's a little bit, harder said than done, but I think that would be kind of a neat vision to step that up.
We've talked about it, and we've been dreaming about a way that we can make almost like real-time help. There's a lot of things that happen that sometimes people need a question to the answer like almost immediately. And to be able to have a platform to do that, I think would be pretty friggin' amazing. So much we can do. And I know, everybody out there listening, trust me, Edgar, myself, Zac, we're always constantly looking to improve and do things better. Keep giving us your feedback. Keep telling us things that you need so that we can help adopt new things, programs, stuff like that, classes, whatever it is that we can do to kind of help. I think you brought up a great point there, Edgar. And I truly believe this next year is going to be unbelievable for us as far as we got our legs under us now, right? The first so many months, it's all new. I've never done a friggin' podcast. You've never done a podcast. We're doing all these things, trying to switch up, we're slipping and falling. It might not be the most perfect thing that's out there, but it's the realest one, I believe. And we're doing everything we can to try to better ourselves. And we're doing it not because we think this is what needs to happen. It's because of what you guys are telling us. So I can't even begin to fathom what next year has in store for us. But I can tell you that we're in it for the long haul, and we're going to be here, and we're going to continue it. And we're going to have another episode that's going to be 104. I was going to say, all right, season 2 recap. And then I'm sure that's going to be nothing like we expected it. And then it's going to be fun to go back to this one and listen to what we're saying here, and then see what really happened, right? And what we had to go through in the next year. But yeah, man, cool.
Absolutely. So I want to give a huge shout out here to Jay. He's on on our chat, and also Maria from Ensenada Pools. Thank you guys. I know that you guys are definitely loyal followers, and we definitely appreciate that. So John, let me take a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, not only do I want to get your final thoughts, I want to get your final thoughts season 1.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with reoccurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Do you know the actual cost of the pool service you provide or the financial health of your pool business? If you don't, it can put you out of business. Pool Nation has created a business training that focuses on the financial side of your business.
What we've done, guys, is we've put a training class together that focuses on 5 metrics that we've created. The goal is you do it, and by the time that you're done with the class, you have all those numbers, you have all that data.
It is the only course that as you enter your data into our exclusive software, it will tell you how much money you are making or losing. It's that simple.
We talk about the metrics, we talk about insurance, what to look for, we talk about billing software.
By the time you are done with the training, you will know your exact cost to service a pool, fixed cost of cleaning, your average profit per pool, your average monthly rate, repair profits and profit percentage, and how much money you are actually making.
And we have had people that have taken the class and had some cash flow issues, and they've made some adjustments with their billing software, and that's kind of solved that issue.
During the training, utilizing our software, you will create your business profit and loss. Once you create your P&L, we will cover the fundamentals of the P&L and how important it is to the success of your business. For more information and the next training dates, visit www.poolnation.online. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you get to keep. For more training dates, go to www.poolnation.online.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast with John. We're talking season 1. John, there's one thing before I jump into the final thoughts that I want to do, and is I want to thank 2 people specifically that have believed in us from day one. And they've believed not just in the podcast, but everything that we're doing. And they have sponsored us from the very early stages of our podcast. And one of them is to Danielle from the SPPA. Danielle, thank you so much for believing us, for being part of the Pool Nation family and the Pool Nation podcast. All you listeners out there, if you need insurance, reach out to the SPPA. Tell them that you heard us on the Pool Nation podcast. The other one goes to Ken from the Ultimate Pool, that has been a complete gentleman and has followed us since day one and believed in us, and they sponsor our podcast. So I do want to make sure that before we end the podcast that we say thank you to them, because they are a huge part of the Pool Nation family. So John, I know we are at the end of the podcast. Let me get your final thoughts of season 1.
Ooh, that's a big one. Final thoughts. First I want to say, look, to everyone out there, I know this podcast is a little different than what we usually do, and not much pool talk, actually none. So for selfish reasons, we're doing this. But it's been quite the journey for us. I think what's important of what we do is not just, hey, this is what I learned, or this is what they're saying, but understanding people as who they are, right? The human aspect of it. For us, the joy of getting on here, talking to Edgar, to Zac, and having fun and doing what we're doing is probably, the funnest part for sure of why we do it. And looking back at the podcast and that first phone call that I got from Edgar and the conversation I had with Janie, and we were talking about the dedication and everything that needed to be, that we had to, put forth to be able to make this happen. I had to think about it because, it's a lot of work, but I can tell you this, that I don't regret one friggin' second of it. And I'm so glad that you made that phone call to us. gave us the opportunity to be able to jump on and do this, and to have this chance to do this recap and talk about all the fun times that we've had. And then most importantly, the friendship that we've cultivated. Like you said before, and it sticks with me, and it's true, if all this blows up, who gives a shit, right? At the end of the day, we got the friendship that we have, and I can count on one hand, and this is no bullshit, how many people that I truly call a friend. You are, well, maybe two hands, and you are definitely one of them. I'm looking forward to another year of this, and to many more. I'm so excited about these awards. And to be honest, we have no idea. I know there's a lot of hard work that's already gone into it, a lot of planning, just a lot of hours that are going into it. And we have this perfect dream or picture of what it's going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing how it unfolds, because I know it's probably not going to go exactly like we planned it, because what does in life, but it's going to be really fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And as far as the podcast, again, for the last scene, for the recap, at the end of the day, I just hope that the people that are listening, and I know we have a very dedicated few that are constantly on, always messaging and always listening, and I know there are hundreds, thousands of others that are actually listening. I just really hope that this has helped you in some way, form, or fashion. And, if what we're doing is somehow affecting you or helping you, or just, if anything, us being knuckleheads and making you laugh is helping you get through the day, is important to you, whatever it is, I just hope that there's many more people out there that are actually going to benefit from this. We'd like to hear from you too, because that's what kind of helps motivate us. Hearing an impact and making a difference is key. That's why we're doing it. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to get emotional or anything, because I'm not very emotional.
You're not
that's your job.
No, oh, that's my job. So I'm supposed to cry.
Your job, Edgar.
I'll tell you this.
You're the one.
I want to cry right now, but the only reason I would cry is my daughter actually did a WhatsApp video call, and I had to decline it because I'm on the podcast. So I might just kind of break down and cry. So.
Right. Oh my God.
So anyways, guys, and I know we joke around about it all the time, but my daughter and I we've always been partners in crime. And I know it's a great opportunity for her, and to be at OU, it's just, I went there and I went, man, I want to go back to college and stuff like that. So she's in the spot that she needs to be, and much success for her. I'll struggle a little bit, but I know it's for the best. For me, John, final thoughts. Let me see. That's difficult, right? Because we've been through a lot. It's been this great roller coaster. We've talked about it. We've created this big friendship. And I agree with you. If this thing crashes tomorrow, you know what? Something great came out of it. And that is that we're definitely going to have that friendship. And I know a lot of people might listen and be like, that's corny or whatever, but it's different. It's something that really is different. I'm very excited about the Pool Nation Awards as well. I'm a little bit nervous because we've never done one, so we kind of don't know what it's supposed to look like. We have an idea of what it's supposed to look like, but then maybe you get up there in front and it doesn't look like that. But look, I'm hoping to have at least like 75 people. And if nothing else, we're going to have this great networking of 75 people that are going to get in there and that are going to have a great time. And I know a lot of people, John, that are coming from far distances. I know people that are coming from California. Oh, yeah. I know people that are coming from Florida. I know people that are coming down from Houston, and not Zac, but other people. So I really want to kind of be able to have those awards, give those awards, but create that community that you're talking about and that networking to help each other out and continue to definitely grow. And I'm super excited about what next season brings for us. So super excited. We'll jump in next week. And John, thanks for your time. I know you're really busy. You were out early.
Yeah.
So
I got to go hit a few more. I got to catch up. But, and another thing for everybody too, look, this is just, and I always said it, this is just the beginning. There's a lot coming out. We got a lot of things up our sleeves that we're going to be introducing this next year. So buckle up and enjoy the ride.
John, thanks for your time. We will talk soon. Everybody out there, thanks for listening and for being on the live. We really appreciate it. Have a great one, John.
Yep. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or PoolNationPodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at Pool.Nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to PoolInvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolManUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry, a pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolManUniversity.com.
Pool Nation, all rights reserved. No part of this podcast may be reproduced in a verbal or nonverbal way. May not be distributed. It may not be distributed in any social media platforms or transmitted in any other forms or any other means, including recording or other electronic or mechanical methods without the prior written permission of Pool Nation.